Hey guys, it's Mallory here. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am finally doing a birth story. So Asher is 2 months old. He's my newborn, and if you didn't see my birth vlog, I did vlog the whole thing, so you can definitely check that out. I'll have a link in the description box so you can watch that after this or whatever you want to do. But I am excited to actually go through and share the birth story. I think it's just, I find these videos interesting, and it's also fun to share for memory's sake. I was going through pictures on my phone. Luckily my mom was able to be in the hospital, so she helped take a lot of pictures, and then she put captions on some of the pictures, and we have timestamps because of the way that our iPhones work and stuff. So I'm able to go through and actually break things down from the time that we got there to all of that. So just to start, we started our whole process a little differently than what I was expecting. So on my due date, which was February 25th, 2021, I had my 40-week appointment. So we were gonna have an appointment that day and see where things were at, and then probably schedule an induction for the following week or something. And I was a little worried because I didn't want Asher to be born in March. I don't know why, it wouldn't matter. March would be great. In fact, for another baby, I'd love to have a birthday in March, but I just had my heart set on February, I guess. But it didn't end up mattering because when I went to that 40-week appointment, I guess I had high blood pressure, which is a sign of preeclampsia and different problems. So they just said, my doctor was like, you know what, there's no reason not to induce you right now. If we wait at all, there could be a risk. And we weren't against getting induced anyways. So I was like, yeah, sure, let's do it. And then things just got real. As we were driving from our OBGYN appointment, which is a separate building, to the hospital where I was going to give labor, which is only maybe a 5-minute drive, I just started kind of freaking out, oh my gosh, it's actually happening, which is silly because we had already packed everything. We had our hospital bags, our nurse gift baskets, everything ready to go, because I was like, who knows what's gonna happen? It is my due date. Maybe I'm so dilated or whatever that we have to go to the hospital, because I had already been 2 centimeters dilated and 50% effaced or something like that. So we headed to the hospital. That was at around 2:30, and at around 3:30, my mom was already in the hospital with us. So luckily she was able to come. I thought that we were gonna have to wait until I had a negative COVID test, but luckily we didn't have to. I still had to take the COVID test, but my mom was able to come right away, which was awesome. So our hospital did allow 1 extra guest on top of my husband, as long as it was just that one. It couldn't be 1 and then they trade out. It would have to be 1 consistently, if that makes sense. So my mom was that person, and we were so happy that she was able to be there, because only a couple weeks before, I think, is when the rule changed. Before that, it was just going to be my husband, Nishid, and I. So anyways, she got to the hospital around 3:30, and they were starting to hook me up. So I had an IV in my hand. They were plugging me in and started giving me the Pitocin. And I guess Pitocin has different levels, so they started me on a low level and then it could get higher. It was really funny because I had heard, you can't really eat during labor delivery stuff, so you need to eat before. But obviously with how quick everything was going, with the high blood pressure and being a concern and just not really knowing what was going on, we just went straight there, didn't eat anything. So I was a little concerned, oh no, I'm not gonna get to eat dinner or anything. And I didn't even eat a snack before. But my nurses were like, okay, you might be able to eat something, you might not. And then turned out I was able to eat something, but they did have to lower the Pitocin or turn it off. So I wasn't on Pitocin while I was eating, and they had to give it some time. I guess the only concern is that I would throw up or something. I don't really know. But so I ate chicken tenders and stuff. You can watch the birth vlog to see that. And it's just funny that that was something I was concerned about. But anyways, then around 5 o'clock, I was just resting. I was kind of sleeping. The Pitocin was kind of kicking in, but I wasn't really feeling anything. But I was I was exhausted, honestly, and I think it was the blood pressure. So I started with high at my doctor's appointment, and then somewhere in there as I was getting induced, I had low blood pressure, which is just crazy. Like, all of this was kind of crazy. I didn't expect any problems like that. And I mean, luckily I was very blessed and there were no like actual health issues or anything like that, but I did have to put on an oxygen mask at one point, and I wore the oxygen mask throughout delivery, which is just crazy. Like, that's in my pictures and videos, and it's so weird that I was wearing oxygen. But so around 5, I was like sleeping and just taking a nap. So then around 7:30, my water broke, and it was so crazy. Like, I actually felt the like burst down in my lower stomach. I felt like this gush of something. I thought maybe the baby was just like kicking me. I didn't know, but then like it was warm in between my legs, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I think my water broke. I'm like wet down there. And oh my goodness, if you have not given birth, your water breaking is not just like a gush of water and then it's done. It's like from that point, stuff is coming out like liquid. So I have no idea how people do it, like where their water breaks in public or at home and then they get to the hospital. So that's just crazy to me. But I was glad that even though I was induced, my water broke naturally, like on its own, which was great. So it doesn't really matter, but it was like, oh, okay, cool. I got to experience that. They didn't have to like pop it for me or whatever. So I did feel that, which was awesome. That was around 7:30. And then we started making like predictions of when I would give birth to Asher. And Nasheed, my husband, was like all over the place. He thought it was gonna be like so soon. That was like 7:30. He was saying it's gonna happen at like 10. And it's like, probably not. But I guessed 2 a.m. So I was really close because he ended up being born at 1:30. But I'm getting ahead of myself. So after my water broke, the nurses did tell me that's usually when contractions get a little more painful and severe and intense. And they were right. As soon as my water broke, I was like, I need to go to the bathroom. I need to pee. I need to pee. I went to the bathroom, like got up, was on the toilet, and all of a sudden like really painful contractions started happening. And they were getting like closer together. So I was like, okay, this is what it's gonna feel like. Because before I was like, you know, kind of feeling some discomfort, but nothing crazy. So I got back into bed, and I had been in a really comfortable position, like on my left side. So I tried doing that again, but the nurses came in and told me that I think they're called like an anesthesiologist, I could be totally wrong, but the person who gives the epidurals and that kind of thing was going to be busy in a C-section. So I needed to decide, it's like, okay, the C-section, he could be in there for like an hour or two, and I could end up not getting the epidural until after that, even if I'm in a ton of pain. So I needed to decide either to do it before that or to wait, and I'd have to just see when he's available to do it afterwards. So I was kind of like wishy-washy, but I was like, I'm planning on getting it anyways. This is super painful. I don't know why I want to keep feeling this. If I'm going to get it anyways, I might as well just get it now, I guess. So I did decide to go ahead and get the epidural. It was just kind of like a weird situation where I had to decide when to get it. It wasn't like, okay, I'm in pain, give it to me. It was, okay, I guess I'll get it now. So I did get the epidural, and oh my goodness, the epidural was my best friend. I really liked the epidural guy. After that, I was like, oh my goodness, this is great. Getting the epidural was really intense. I feel like you're like sitting on the edge of the bed and you have to be still, and I'm having contractions, but I have to like be still and calm and breathe. And luckily I had my mom and Nasheed there, so I did feel a lot of support. Nasheed was like holding my hand, and I was really worried because I knew they were putting like a big needle in my back or whatever, but it wasn't like as painful as I thought it would be, because I had heard getting the epidural is like the most painful part for some people. I don't remember it being painful. Of course, this is 2 months later and I've got mommy brain and all that, but I don't remember it being very painful. I just remember being like, okay, this is really intense. Like I have to be still, and it took longer than I kind of expected. Also, I don't know if I'm the only one. Apparently I just didn't know much about anything before giving birth, but I thought the epidural was just like a shot that you got. Like, okay, they put the needle in, they like put some kind of medicine through, but it's like an IV where it's connected to your back. And then they gave me this little magic button that I was able to press like every 10 minutes or something, it would flash. And when it did that, if I was in pain still, oil and I needed like some more medicine, whatever it's called, the epidural medicine, then I could press that button and it would like send more. So I am embarrassed to say I pressed that button a bunch and I did not feel much pain at all. I had still been feeling like some pain just on one side, and I was like, why am I feeling this? Like, it wasn't even bad, but I was telling my mom, like, I don't know why I'm feeling any kind of pain, like this feels weird. So I just like was pressing the button and then I felt much better. So that worked out for me. But that, just for the timeline's sake, I ended up getting the epidural around like 8 o'clock. So after I got the epidural, they had me like turn from side to side to kind of get the medicine flowing, which is great. And then around like 9:45 is when I did have to go on oxygen because of the low blood pressure. So I mentioned that earlier, but it actually happened at like 9:45 and I was on oxygen the rest of the night throughout giving birth, which is again just kind of bizarre. So in my pictures I've got that mask on and everything. And in case you didn't know, they do like come in, a bunch of nurses, well not a bunch, but like the nurse comes in and then I think usually somebody else too, and they're checking your vitals all the time. So you know, it was already like, this is past 10 o'clock, so I'm getting really tired, plus I had the low blood pressure, so I just feel really exhausted. But then of course I'm uncomfortable. I have all sorts of stuff hooked up to me, the Pitocin, the IV, the well, the Pitocin's going through the IV, but you know what I mean. The epidural's in my back. It's just crazy. But they did bring out this thing called like a peanut, I guess. So it's kind of like a pillow, but it's like firm, and you put it in between your legs and like lay in different positions, and that helps like have your legs kind of spread. Because also what I didn't think about or realize is that at a certain point, like I was wanting to kind of bounce on a yoga ball and like do different like walking around and stuff. I was like, I don't want to just lay in bed during labor and delivery and everything. But once my water broke, it's like there's so much liquid coming out of me. I can't like walk around really, and I definitely can't bounce on a exercise ball. I mean, maybe some people do, I don't know, but I was like, that's nasty. So I was just in bed, but luckily the peanut thing kind of helps, and also just helps like get him to start coming out. Well, he's already coming out, but you know, help with that process, and not just be like laying on your back flat or whatever. So that helped me be in different positions and everything, and I'm glad that my nurse recommended that. I had heard about it like briefly before, but if your hospital doesn't recommend it or like doesn't say anything about it, maybe ask about it, because I felt a little bit better about the fact that I was able to be in like a little bit of a better position. I don't know. So from that time, like 10 o'clock through like 1 a.m., I was just kind of chilling, waiting for things to happen. They would check my cervix occasionally. I feel like they checked it like once or twice to see what I was at. And I had got to like a 6 or something. And then Nasheed was just like asleep on the side, so I'm so glad my mom was there. I mean, I'm guessing if my mom wasn't there, he probably would have stayed up to be with me, but she was hanging out with me. We were just talking and hanging out while he was sleeping, waiting for the baby to come. And then I just started to feel so much pressure down there. So I was like, okay, something's going on. I feel a ton of pressure. I feel like he's coming soon. And my mom says that I guess I was like, I started saying that and then didn't even tell the nurses or anything for a little while. I don't know why, but I was just like, oh yeah, I guess, I mean, I'll tell them next time they come in or like something like that. And then I told them, and everything just went so fast at that point. So I probably told them maybe at like 1, maybe a little bit before. And then all of a sudden, like tons of people were coming in the room. I had heard that a lot of people come in the room, but like you really don't expect it. There were tons of people in the room. There were like 2 people who were gonna take the baby and like clean him off and whatever. There was the doctor, of course, my nurse, some other random person. I can like clearly picture her, but I don't know what her role was and everything, but she did like talk to me about something, so she had some kind of important role. And then a couple other people too, like a few other people that I don't even remember, but I remember more people being there. And all of a sudden it's like, okay, you're at a 9, and you know, it's kind of like it's happening. And I was like, oh my gosh, okay. So the doctor is coming in. She doesn't even have like the full it's not scrubs because it's like what, more than scrubs, like the full plastic stuff on. She doesn't have everything on her yet, and she's just like down there checking everything. I get up in like the stirrups, I think, and like it's go time. It was just crazy. And they start talking me through like, okay, you're going to hold your breath when you're pushing, and we're gonna count to 10, and then you're gonna take a deep breath in, and we're gonna do it again, and you're gonna do this as you're having a contraction. And then once the contraction's done, then you'll take a little bit of a break. Then she was using like some kind of oil. I should remember this. This is bad that I don't remember, because I definitely recommend it. Like asking your doctor about using some kind of oil, and I'm gonna remember that for next time, because I think that really helped me not to tear as badly, because I had a now 9-pound 7-ounce baby. So he was huge. His head was, I think, 14 and I don't know. It was very big. And she was just like using this oil and doing this whole thing. It was crazy. And all of a sudden it's just like, okay, we're gonna start pushing. And I started pushing. I only had to push during like 3 or 4 contractions, and all this happened within a matter of half an hour. He was born at 1:30 a.m. on the dot. And it's just funny too, because it was so close to being on the 25th, which was his due date, but it was 1:30 a.m. on February 26th, which was just so cool. It was such a quick and easy process for me. I want to say, like, I really enjoyed it. It was not difficult. There were complications with him. Like, I guess he had swallowed down a ton of the fluid as he was coming out, so he wasn't like crying as much as he's supposed to when he came out. And they put him on me for a second, but then they had to take him away. And I don't know, I kind of feel like, can you fight them on that and be like, I just want to do skin to skin first? Like, can I just do that? I'm gonna advocate for myself a lot better in my next birth, because I know more now. So definitely just educate yourself. I'd say the same thing about breastfeeding. I'm gonna have a whole series on breastfeeding. I've learned so much. I've been through the ringer, but I've kind of come out on the other side, and things are much better now. So I will have a whole series on that. Definitely make sure to subscribe to stay tuned for those kinds of videos. Definitely let me know if you have any questions in the comments, and I will try to answer them as best I can. Obviously, I don't know much about this. I just have my own experience. But like I said, I definitely want to just advocate for myself better in the future, and I recommend that you do the same, because they did take Asher away for at least like 15 to 20 minutes, have him on the table doing different things, and I don't even know exactly what they were doing. Of course, during that time, they're like stitching me up. I did have a 2nd-degree tear, I guess, so I asked the doctor to explain what that really meant. And also, just side note, at the time I was not in pain at all because of the epidural, so it was not a problem that she was like stitching me up and whatever. But I was kind of, you know, just out of it. Like, it was just a crazy experience, obviously. So I wasn't really able to say like, hey, why are you taking my baby away? Why can't I just do skin to skin? Can I go ahead and just start trying to breastfeed him? Like, you know, kind of advocating for myself and asking more questions, and just talking more to understand. So I'm definitely going to do that before birth, and also like during the experience as well. But I think that's just something you have to talk with your doctor about and kind of figure out those boundaries. And I don't know, obviously his health is more important, but I've just heard so many things about how it is most healthy to get that skin to skin time right away. Anyways, so the 2nd-degree tear, I guess there's 4 degrees from what my doctor explained. Obviously you can probably find this on the internet. The first one would be if just your like vagina tore a little bit, like right around the skin area tore. 2nd degree, which is what I had, the around the vagina and through the vaginal muscle tears. So that's what I had. And then 3rd would be like down to the rectum, like the skin, and then 4th would be like the muscle, vagina, and all the way down to the rectum. I think rectum is the right word. But yeah, so luckily I had a 2nd-degree tear. Like I said, Asher was 9 pounds 7 ounces, so he was huge, and I'm really glad that I got the epidural. Beforehand, I was always open to it, and like probably I will, but I had watched some amazing birth vlogs of mamas who had done it with like a water birth or a home birth, like very natural. And I think it's amazing. Kudos to you if you can do that, but there is no shame in getting the epidural. This medicine exists for a reason. Tons of women do it, and I did it, and it was amazing, and my best friend, and I would recommend it to anyone. I did not feel the pain, but I was able to still feel like pushing and the experience. I don't feel like I was robbed of anything. It was a great experience. And all of that happened within a very short amount of time, especially for my first birth. So basically, I think I said it's like from 3 p.m. when we got to the hospital around like 2:30, 3 p.m. to 1:30 a.m. So it was less than 12 hours. It was around like 10, 11 hours. And I think the Pitocin started around 3 or 3:30, but then, like I said, it slowed down when I was eating dinner. We like turned it off. And then also, since I was having low blood pressure, we had to like do some slower. So it probably would have been even faster if things had been a little different. But that was a very quick labor and delivery for me. Pushing was very quick and easy for me. I mean, easy is a relative term. I've heard so many other people's stories, and I think it's just different for each woman, each baby, because it's different. Even I've heard from moms, like it's different with their first baby and their second baby. So yeah, I just wanted to share my experience. That's my birth story. Like I said, I had a whole birth vlog and I uploaded it a while ago, so you can check that out. I'll have it linked down below. I actually like show a lot of things, nothing crazy, but I really enjoyed watching some of those before I gave birth. But don't let anything that people tell you freak you out. Just know, and what I went in thinking that really helped me is our bodies were made to do this. Women have been doing this for thousands of years, and we have every medicine and doctor and help available to us now that lots of women didn't have. So you're gonna be okay, your baby's gonna be okay, you are going to be safe. Just go in with, I don't want to sound like weird and cheesy, positive vibes and positive feelings, but go in knowing that your body was made to do this, and just relax and enjoy the process as much as possible. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Definitely, like I said, make sure to subscribe. I'm gonna have those breastfeeding videos coming up. I'm going to talk about newborn must-haves and favorites, and then have tons of other kind of mom content. I'm really loving being with Asher's mom. He's 2 months old and we're having so much fun. So I will see you next time. Bye.